Hello everyone, I'm Joe Zagacki and welcome to Hurricane Game Day with head baseball coach Jim Morris. And coming up on the show, we'll talk baseball with the Hurricane skipper. In unlimited access, Scott Braun spends a day in the life with Hurricanes Michael Broad, and JD Arteaga joins us in the studio. Hurricane Game Day starts right now.
Okay, here we go. Let's go.
Hello everyone and welcome to Hurricane Game Day with University of Miami head baseball coach Jim Morris. I'm Joe Zagacki alongside the skipper. This weekend, Miami on the road in Boston, Chestnut Hill to take on Boston College. It's going to be really cold up there. We'll talk about that in a moment. Coach, last weekend, let's go back to ACC play. Very competitive. Georgia Tech comes in. 3 really good games, close ball games. The score on the Saturday game not indicative of the type of game it was.
It was. I mean, all 3 games we could have won, and we lost all 3 games. We didn't get a big hit. And of course, the Saturday game you were talking about, we went extra innings, and they put up a 6th spot in the 10th, which I haven't seen. I don't remember. I don't know if we've scored 6 runs in a game this year. I'm trying.
It was all with 2 outs too to make it a little worse.
Oh yeah, it was tough. But you know, we didn't get a big hit. So bottom line, we pitched really good. I thought we played great defense on Saturday and Sunday, which I was very concerned about with the moving some guys around. But we just couldn't get a hit with guys on base. Was the bottom line.
I would add though that you were very, very competitive against a team that's won 16 games in a row, playing really well right now. A Georgia Tech squad that's experienced, yet you have a load of injuries. I know you don't like to make excuses, but you really had to move your lineup around and starting at shortstop. And I thought your guys really competed despite the injuries.
It did. I mean, we moved Harold from first to short. He hadn't played shortstop since he was in high school at Braddock High School, and he played outstanding. I was very impressed the way he played, and it looked like, you know, he played there all the time, to be honest with you. And Ronnie Rodriguez moved to first and played well, and I thought that was big. And then when we got Zeke in center field and Kerry and Wright and Mack, we played better defense in the outfield, so that helps. But, you know, no question we need Steven Perez back, and we need Nate Melendrez at full force. I think there's a pretty good chance that Nate will not play this weekend at Boston College, will not play this complete week, and he needs a week off with a slight pull. And we just got some guys beat up. I mean, we went to the 9th inning and really didn't have anybody to pinch hit. If we wanted to, with a man on third base. We didn't have an extra infielder or outfielder in that situation. 2 extra catchers.
You know, you go back to Harold Martinez, and when he first started as a freshman, there are a lot of comparisons between him and Alex Rodriguez because of his frame. And then you move him to shortstop the other day, and you know, long and lean, and he did look like Alex Rodriguez in terms of his body and the way he kind of handled the shortstop.
Well, he played. I was very impressed the way he played. He took ground balls. The first day he worked out there, he looked good. The second day he worked out just before we were playing. I'm going, oh my goodness, because he didn't look as good that day, but then he played very, very well in the games, particularly Saturday and Sunday.
Also, the pitching was pretty good on Sunday. A week ago was exceptional. Eric Whaley gave you really a career game. 10 strikeouts, 7 strong innings, was in the strike zone all day long. That's got to be something you can build off of.
Well, you're right. I mean, Eric pitched better than any of the starters in the weekend, but our pitching's been, you know, outstanding. We just got to get to hitting and going with it. But Whaley had total command. Of course, Georgia Tech had 3 outstanding starters, right, as good as we were faced, and we just got to get some hits with it because we pitched well enough to win.
Sam Robinson has pitched well for you all year long, coming out of the bullpen. He did give up a run against Georgia Tech. He had a streak of 17 1/3 without giving up a run. But that's got to be a nice lift for you, Sam Robinson coming out of the bullpen, the crafty lefty, looking down the road, gives you another arm there. And Sam's always been good in the clutch.
Well, he has. I mean, he's pitched good. He's particularly tough on left-handed hitters, and then Sargent's done a good job with the right-handed hitters, and then Miranda to finish it out. That's pretty good in right or left-hander. So it's you know, it's a pretty good combination when we get in there late. And they've done a really good job all year.
I was going to say, looking down the road, if you get your team back healthy with some of this pitching, you mentioned Sargent, the guy who drops down, the kid drops down. There are some things to build on.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, we just got to get it. And our pitching's been getting us to the 7th inning. You know, our starters. So if we can get to the 7th or 8th inning like that right there and have those guys, then we can match up pretty good against anybody.
All right, this weekend, Miami will take on The Eagles of Boston College in Chestnut Hill. The weather report is for lots of cold weather and snow, just the way Coach Morris likes it for baseball. We will continue right here. Don't go anywhere. There's plenty to come on the show. When we come back in this week's Unlimited Access, we spend a day in the life of a student athlete with Hurricanes infielder Michael Broad. Hurricane Game Day on CSS. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day here on CSS. The University of Miami's baseball team is comprised of some great student athletes with a strong emphasis on the word student. Balancing schoolwork and sports can be a challenge. In this week's Unlimited Access, we give you an inside look at a day in the life of Hurricanes infielder Michael Broad.
Making the adjustment to playing in the spotlight is difficult for many college athletes. UM baseball fans got to see Michael Broad start his career off with a bang, finishing the year as one of the team's top hitters. However, for Michael, playing in front of 3,000 fans at Mark Light Field is nothing new. After all, he captured the hearts of millions when he was only 12 years old.
Hey, my name is Michael Broad, and you'll be following me around today. First, we're gonna get some breakfast.
Back in 2003, Michael Broad experienced what most young baseball players can only dream of, leading his East Boynton Beach team to the Little League World Series.
And not until it was over and I rewatched the games or whatever, did you realize, damn, there's a lot of people there.
Michael became a Little League icon across the country. After throwing a no-hitter and reaching the World Series final against Japan, Michael Broad was a household name.
Went to news stations, met President Bush, the first pitch of the World Series. We're at all these different type of promotional events. We're in parades. I mean, when we flew in from the airport, we had 4 fire trucks just spraying water on us as we kind of came in when we landed. And I don't know, it's kind of like a surreal kind of feeling. You're just kind of just living in the moment. You know, we were in limousines everywhere we went. We had parties at restaurants, and we're 600, 700, 1,000 people would show up for autographs and be lines out the door. It was crazy. Really.
Thank you. This is a dining hall, and we're gonna get some food now. How you doing? Yeah, can I get just ham? 2 eggs, a scoop of egg whites. Gotta get that high C.
The switch to an independent lifestyle in college is not easy for a 17-year-old. It was no different for Michael.
You got that freshman energy, you just want to go everywhere and do everything and just meet everyone. So last year it was kind of like a struggle, just getting organized in my classes. And I think to say that you grow a lot from your freshman and sophomore year. I think that's the biggest thing. You're a lot more organized. You already know what the routine is. Because last year you developed the routine. This year you already have it set and you just know what you got to do.
Just got done with breakfast, going to Intro to Sports Administration with my professor, Paul Resnick, and it should be an interesting class. Usually we just talk a lot about sports and try to take notes, pretty much. I wrote some on the front of it and some on the back of it.
Michael, come on up.
That's me. Thank you. Nah. Was that 25? At 25? No. 22.
Either fined or ejected for illegal hits. However, after the series of recent flagrant acts.
While Michael enjoys his sport administration courses, he is most interested in the communication field.
My major is broadcast communications, and freshman to sophomore year is a big change. It's a lot tougher this year, for sure. Last year, you have intro to this, intro to that, intro to this, and this year you're in your my COM 302 class, and My CNJ 111 class, it's right into it, a little bit by a lot smaller classes. Intro classes, you have like 100 and something kids. Now I have like 15 to 20 kids in the class, and it's papers due here and here and here. And it's, you know, it's a lot harder, but at the same time, you're a little more organized, so you know how to get it done.
Gameday is only like 5 years old. The environment, he writes about urban living and so on. Not only does he have to write the stories.
So that's it for classes today. Now let's get on to practice.
This year on the baseball field, like I just feel so much more comfortable. Last year I was a little nervous around Jim Morris 3, a little nervous around him, and always nervous that I had to do everything right, and I'd forget to do something and I'd freak out or whatever. But this year I just know what I gotta do, so it makes everything a lot easier.
During the fall season, the baseball team practices and holds inter-squad scrimmages 5 days a week, lasting 3 hours a day.
Natural born catcher.
TV time.
You gotta get the grades up. You gotta get the grades up. That's something we're gonna give you more time. And as I said, I don't want to see you on this field signing their Mondays. You guys are in study hall. I don't want to see you down here on Sunday, Monday in class when you could be in, doing your stuff in there. She set up, I think, 3 hours for you guys to be in there.
His freshman year, Michael had one additional challenge. Having the ability to play many positions, often he wouldn't know where he would be playing until hours before the game.
Sure, I was a utility player. I started second, played shortstop, started at third base, started in left field, and I started DH. So I mean, I played in the infield. I played, in and out. The thing about playing second base is I'll just know I'm at second base this year. Last year, before the game, I would be at DH, or I'd be at like third base or something, and all of a sudden right before the game, oh, Mike, you got to start at second today. And I'd be like, I didn't even say ground balls at second today. Or I'd be at second today, or fielding ground balls all day, and then Mike, you're starting in left field today.
Second baseman, where do we want the ball? Show me on the base. On the third base, let's see where they want it. Where do you want the ball? See, you're not on the base. Where do you want the ball, Mike? Front corner, back corner, right in the middle? Back half in the middle.
The most important thing as a freshman is getting your at-bats. And I got a pretty good amount of at-bats and was ended up like second in the team in average.
During his freshman campaign, Michael's batting average on the team leaderboard only trailed eventual first-round pick and All-American Yasmani Grandal.
No. Where are we trying to hit the ball?
He then batted .300 this past summer, leading his team to the Valley Baseball League championship. Michael looks to lead the team's hitting attack, as Miami only returns 3 players that hit over .300 last season. While he hopes to have a long-lasting baseball career, Michael already has plans when his playing days are over.
Afterwards, like I guess it's more practical now that after you're done with MLB, you go into commentation on ESPN or the MLB network, and I like to do something like that because it's something I know. I love baseball, and I know a lot about it, so I figured it was a good fit for me. I'm not bad at speaking, I guess.
I'm Michael Broad, and you just saw how my days go. Thank you.
You guys played hard today.
All right, some great stuff there, and a special thanks to UMTV student Matt Small and Scott Braun for putting that story together for us. A great job, fellas. Coach, being a student athlete, playing baseball is not an easy job.
No, it's very demanding. I mean, the time is an issue because this school is an outstanding school. It's tough. All the classes are tough, and you got to go to class, you got to go to study hall, you got to have tutors. You got to make sure you take time for that. And of course, we're trying to demand as much time as we can baseball-wise with our practice. We also expect them to do work on their own to get better, because if you're playing a piano, the more you practice, the more you play, the better you are. And my theory is the same with baseball. So they need to work very hard.
And things have changed the last couple of years because the schedule has been condensed, so there are more midweek games, and with the ACC, you're on the road and you have to leave for these weekend series on a Thursday.
Well, it is. That's a tough thing for our players. Plus, since I've been here now, it's my 18th year, our average SAT has gone up 230 points approximately. So that's a huge thing when you're right at 1,300 SAT, the average, with an average GPA of 4.3 to incoming students. So, you know, I mean, we've got a guy, like Scott Weevil that comes in, and Scott's has got a 5.8 grade point average and 1560 on the SAT. Just the math and verbal. We're not counting the reading, and I can't even hardly talk to the guy. He's so smart.
A 5.8, huh?
5.8. 6 is the perfect. He's got a 5.8, and he's got 1560. I asked him what question he missed.
Wow.
Yeah.
Along those lines, though, also your baseball season starts officially in February with the games, but you have a fall practice. The season generally or usually goes until June because of the postseason and the World Series. So you're crossing over semesters, which makes it even more difficult.
Oh, that's still. And you know what? They got to do. It doesn't matter what we're practicing or not practicing as a team. They got to be practicing because it's like the piano theory. You know, that's an old Bobby Cox thing I heard him say one time. You know, and it's the truth. You got to practice to play. If you want to be the best player, compete at the top, then you got to work. You got to work, and we've got the great weather down here to be able to do that every day.
And they also do a great job of representing the program, and I know you're proud of that.
Well, I am, and actually this fall we had the highest GPA ever, team GPA ever in the history of Miami baseball.
All right, very good. When we continue, we'll hear from University of Miami pitching coach J.D. Arteaga as we continue on Hurricane Game Day right here on CSS. Don't go away. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day here on CSS with University of Miami head coach Jim Morris, joined now by a man with many titles. Pitching coach, assistant head coach, recruiting coordinator. J.D. Arteaga is with us, and former Hurricane pitcher and University of Miami Hall of Famer. How you doing?
Doing good.
Everything good?
Yep.
All right. Well, your pitching so far this year has been solid. It's a different game because of the bat. Let's talk about it from that perspective. How has it affected pitching?
I think you just be more aggressive. You know, you can go after guys more. You can pitch inside a lot more. It's more of a wood bat type feel. So you just want to stay away from the barrel. You know, and it allows you to throw to pitch inside and be more aggressive, throw more strikes. And you know, it's funny. Our walks are down, but our strikeouts are up also. So it's one of those things that you preach. I've been preaching for 8-9 years now, but they feel more comfortable doing because of the bats. But it's showing.
Pitching inside is always a challenge, especially at the college level. But now with the new bats, if you jam a guy, you actually get a jam shot. You can take the bat right out of their hand.
Yeah, you know, with the old bats, you weren't always rewarded for making good pitches. You know, now you are. You know, you make your pitch. You know, you had a better chance of getting guys out. You used to see guys muscle balls out of the park or for doubles in the gap. You know, and now if you get in there, it's an out most of the time.
Going into the fall or coming into the beginning of the season, maybe you weren't quite sure what your rotation was going to be, but the freshman Rzuski has pitched really well. Eric Whaley, as we talked about with Coach Morris, gave you a great performance last Sunday, and it looks like E.J. Encinos has made a nice adjustment to becoming a starter.
Yeah, you know, I felt very comfortable with I always felt from the beginning that our rotation was going to be deeper than it was last year. Our only concern, we lost to Chris Hernandez, you know, those guys you don't replace. But you can't replace that one guy, but the three together as a group is stronger than what we had last year, you know, and our bullpen's done a great job. You know, Danny and Sam have been doing that for 2 years now. This is the 3rd year in the bullpen, and Sargent's come in and done a great job balancing it out with a tough right-handed arm.
Sargent comes in, he drops down, and we asked his parents, why did he always pitch like that? And he said, no, it just seems to be kind of a University of Miami tradition. Why was it good for him to come in with the sidearm?
Well, Sargent was a shortstop most of his career. You know, he started pitching his senior year or late into his junior year, and was start throwing sidearm from the get-go. That's one guy we didn't drop down. He came to us that way already. You know, Sam we dropped down. It's one of those things. It's a different look. You know, we always, as a pitcher, you want to go for deception, and it works for some guys. It doesn't work for others. It worked for Bellamy and Robinson, and it's working for Sargent right now.
I mentioned you're also a recruiting coordinator, and recruiting in college baseball is very interesting. You've got great homegrown talent here, and some people say, well, you got to keep it here, and you do. You do a great job of keeping it here. The other challenge is keeping it or getting it to go to college, because a lot of kids want to go play pros, professional baseball, and nowadays, drafted in the first 1 through 4 rounds, guys make a lot of money.
It's a gamble, you know. It's every year's a gamble. We lost, 5 of our top recruits in the last 15 minutes before the deadline, you know, and you're right. We had one pitcher go in the 4th round and get $2 million. You know, it's tough to pull away a kid away from $2 million to go to college, but it's one of those things. Some years, you get all your guys. Some years you lose them, and the 7th pick of the draft went to school this past summer, so you never know. It's a gamble.
But coming to the University of Miami is still a real attraction for local kids.
It is. You know, it's you got to try to get a feel for them, and some guys, it is an attraction for them to come, and some try to use the University of Miami to get more money in the draft, you know, so it's an educated guess, and you got to do a better job of backing ourselves up and getting some guys that you know are going to go to school and taking chances on some guys signing.
All right, very good. Keep up the good work with the pitching staff.
Thank you.
All right, that's University of Miami pitching coach, assistant head coach, and recruiting coordinator J.D. Arteaga. Stay with us. When we come back, Coach Morris and I will take a look at what's ahead for the Hurricanes. Boston College coming up next. We'll talk about that right here on Hurricane Game Day on CSS. Welcome back to Hurricane Game Day with University of Miami head coach Jim Morris right here on CSS. All right, Coach, coming up this weekend, you will take on the Eagles of Boston College, traveling to Chestnut Hill. The last time I was up there was for Boston College basketball, and their field was under about 6 feet of snow. I'm not sure if it's going to be any better this weekend.
Well, I don't know about 6 feet, but there's a 70% chance of snow on Saturday, and I think high on Friday is 40 and 70% chance of rain. So definitely it's going to be a long underwear weekend to be able to go out on a baseball field.
Boston College, through the last couple of years, has done a pretty good job with their squad. They weren't much of a factor several years ago, but they made the tournament a couple of years ago. They're 4-5 this year. Their coach went on to Notre Dame, but they are much improved in baseball.
They are. I mean, they have a lot of financial aid. They have their allotment of full scholarships that they have for baseball, and it's an outstanding school. And they recruit most of the kids from up in that area, and they understand the value of an education. So it's a good place to recruit to for them. And so it's you know, they've done very well, and they've recruited some really good players, and they've got a lot of financial help to do it because of the fact that school has a lot of money.
We were joking a little bit about the weather, but how much of a concern is it?
You know what? You know, it's amazing. I guess over the years, we've actually played pretty good when it was cold. I know my first road trip ever, we went to Notre Dame to play in 1994. And we went up there, and of course, J.D. pitched that weekend, so he could tell you then too. But we went up there, and it's on Easter weekend. And I figure going to Notre Dame on Easter weekend, you're paying 9 guys and the big guys overlooking the field.
Yeah, right.
Overlooking the field, we ain't got a chance, and we played outstanding and swept that weekend. So, and it was a chance of snow all weekend, and same thing's going to be this weekend.
All right, well, it should be great. You're 6-3. The Coastal Division's a real battle. I'm not sure why you have divisions in the ACC. Why they just go 1 through 12? But you're in the Coastal, which is a much tougher division than the Atlantic.
No question, year in, year out, this division is much tougher. For some reason, some of the coaches they don't vote to go, you know, just straight through like basketball. But that's the way it should be, in my opinion. You know, in fairness to every team.
All right, Coach. Great to see you. The best of luck this weekend against Boston College. We'll talk to you next week.
Sounds great. Thanks, Jim.
All right, that's University of Miami head coach Jim Morris, and don't forget, join us next week for more talk on Hurricane baseball. For Jim Morris and J.D. Arteaga and our entire crew, thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next week right here on CSS.